Hi, we are Meticulous Mobile Detailing, and we are looking forward to providing your customers with great detailing while parking at Park and Jet. In this 15-minute video, you'll see the entire process from when the customer arrives on the lot through dropping their keys off, having their vehicle detailed, us turning the keys back into you, and then leaving as a happy customer. We look forward to working with you and are excited to provide this service to your customers. Thanks for taking the time to look over this video. It will help us have a good relationship. So here you're seeing a client pull up to your cashier's booth like normal, and you'll go through your normal routine of checking them in, asking how they're parking, and all of those different types of things. And once you've gone through that process, you'll want to just ask them while you're traveling, would you like a detail? Whether they say yes or no, we're not concerned, but just offering it's super important so that they know that it is an available service while they're here staying at Park and Jet. And if they say yes, you'll go down to the second drawer there on your right hand side, and inside that drawer will be a form that you'll hand to them as you're seeing now. And they'll fill that out and they'll leave it with their driver, and then that should be all set. If they're asking about different packages or pricing, you don't need to know those answers, just letting them know to fill out their information and that we'll contact them and we can discuss different options from there. I'm a shuttle driver that I just am bringing the customer's keys. We've got the detail form and the keys in the back here, and we'll come into the office and take these up front to the cashier. These keys now come to the cashier, and the cashier can come, you'll leave them here on the desk. The internet gets opened. You click the favorites up here, and you click the Meticulous Google Calendar. And it might be within this, you click this, it opens our calendar. We would come to the return date here. We would come to the 31st here in Google Calendar. We will click, and we're going to type 86158 is the ticket number, and the last name, and the return time. We use military time, so 1330 being 1:30 in the afternoon, and the detail type is a mini detail. And you click the enter, and it now logs. And once that is logged, now we get an email. These keys now get taken back and hung up on the return date, being the 31st in this scenario, gets hung here. Now Meticulous comes and collects the keys, whether it be the next day or the next morning or whenever. We collect the keys and we take this clipboard, we're going to fill out the information, and we will initial the keys saying that we're taking the keys. At such point, once we've taken the keys, we go to our calendar that you guys have access to as well, and I come to your appointment here, and I'm going to change it to yellow. And that now indicates that we have the keys. So you can look at the calendar and see that we have the keys. Let's go see that on the computer. So you can see here on Google Calendar, there's the appointment. It is now yellow, indicating that we have the keys. And once we begin working on it, that will change to orange. So you can see the calendar is now orange. That indicates that Meticulous is working on the job. And once we've completed it, we'll change it to dark green. That means that you have the keys turned back into your office, and that it's ready for the customer to pick up. And you can also see here on this clipboard where we will have initialed the keys in. So this key being initialed in and the calendar being green indicates to you that the keys have been turned in and the car is ready for the customer. Here are some other examples of how we utilize our calendar. These are both orange, meaning that they are in progress. This one is in progress, the interior is completed. This one is in progress and it is done in the shop. If this customer were to be returning early for some reason, the done in shop, you know that you can collect the keys and hand the customer the car and it's ready to go. This interior done If the customer is back, that means that for one reason or another, the exterior has not been completed, but you can give them their keys and send them on their way. Just a quick walk around of our form. This is where you'll put the ticket number. This is where the driver will put their parking space and the driver name, so that if we have questions as far as where they parked or anything, we can ask that specific driver. The different detail types, different sizes, the customer will select what they would like. Down here, the customer will enter their name, their vehicle information, their return date and time, their phone number, and then they'll sign it. Once we've collected the keys, we then text the customer the date and the time that we've texted them, which one of us has texted that customer. We confirm their return date and time, and we video around the vehicle to make sure that it's any damage is documented. We then give the customer additional options based on what their vehicle could use for their detail, and they can either okay that suggestion, decline that suggestion, or they don't respond to that suggestion, and we mark that box on the bottom. Once we've collected the keys from your office, we'll come out and we'll find the vehicle on your lot, and then I video around the vehicle just so we have documentation of any potential damage to the vehicle. So if the customer is asking about something, we have prior documentation. After we've done that, we'll look the vehicle over and we'll see what type of detail they've selected and see if that's a good package for their vehicle. And then we send them a text message here, and we'll put a picture of that up of how we talk to your customer. And that's documented here where we've texted the customer, and we would offer them some sort of additional work. Once they've either okayed it, declined it, or they haven't responded, then we'll pull the vehicle into the shop and get started on the detail. Here's an example of that text. Hi there, confirming your return to the Park and Jet as of this date and this time. Looking your vehicle over, we would recommend an additional hour of interior cleaning. Now, we don't care whether or not they accept this additional hour, we just want to make sure to meet their expectations. In this scenario, the customer has okayed the additional hour of work, so we'll do that and it'll be ready for their return. Here is another example in which the customer has declined the additional hour. And again, that's just fine with us. We just want to make sure that they know what to expect when they get back. For instance, if there is dog hair and we ask if they would like the dog hair removed and they say no, they now know when they get back that there could be some dog hair still remaining in their car, and they have that expectation. That way they're not disappointed in their service. We've also here, the customer has adjusted their return date and time, and this allows us to make sure that we have the vehicle ready for them when they return at an adjusted time. So in this adjusted date, we will change it in Google Calendar to their new return date and time so that it's ready for them. The other scenario is that the customer doesn't respond to us, and obviously in that scenario we will do the best we can within the original detail they selected. With each detail on our menu, including a certain amount of time, we will spread our time, for instance 2 hours, we'll spread that 2 hours across the vehicle the best we can. If it's very dirty on the exterior with mud and bugs and maybe tar, and also the interior is heavy dirty with spills and stains and dog hair, we're going to just have to pick and choose the best we can how to put our time into that vehicle, since we haven't heard back from them. Ultimately, our goal is to have 100% of customers happy with their detail service, which is why we go to these extensive efforts in communicating with them via text to see if their vehicle could use any additional work and confirming their return date and time. On this pegboard is where we will store all of the keys of all of the potential vehicles that are out on the lot, and these would all be indicated as being yellow on the Google Calendar. Because we have them in our possession, and if we've begun working on them of some form or another, then that would be orange in the calendar, but we have them in our possession. If this vehicle had been completed, it would be orange, and if we were leaving it in the shop to stay clean, it would say done in shop. It would be orange on the calendar, and the keys would be on the windshield here like this. And so if the client were to return early for one reason or another, you could come into the shop. The car would be in the shop with the keys on the windshield, and you could pull it out. A second scenario would be that the vehicle would be in the shop, but the keys would be hanging with the floor mats here, indicating that the floor mats were still wet and that we've got them hanging to dry. And so if that customer were coming back, it would also be done and ready to go. You would give the customer their floor mats and their key packet. Under most circumstances, the car will be completed. We will pull it out and we will put it back in the row where we gathered it from. We will turn the keys back into the board. This will be hanging on the pegboard and it will be initialed in, and this will indicate to you that the vehicle is done and ready for the car to be picked up. Once we've completed the detail and within 24 hours of the customer's return, we'll bring the keys back up into the office, and the yellow paper indicates, if it's hanging on the pegboard, that it is completed, and we will initial the keys back in on the clipboard, and the Google Calendar will be dark green, all of these indicating you have the keys. When the customer returns to the lot, this packet will be hanging on the pegboard. You will give them their keys and the yellow paper as their receipt, and then they can be dropped off to their vehicle. Here I'm discussing how to handle a customer complaint. Ultimately, at this point, the customer has been texted, confirmed return, offered services. If for some reason they're unhappy, you need to have the confidence that we will make it right with them, get them on their way, give them our phone number, and tell them that they can reach out and we will do anything that we can to make them happy. Ultimately, there's only one emergency, which is missing keys, and the customer unable to leave the lot. Otherwise, all issues can be dealt with at a future time. Give them our phone number, get them on their way, and we will take it from there. If a customer were to return early, we've done our part by contacting them, confirming their return date and time. And if for one reason or another they returned early without letting us know, and you needed to find that customer's vehicle, you go to Google Calendar and see if the vehicle is done or not, and then you would come out here to the shop and find the keys and find the vehicle and give it back to them. Here we are at the computer, just a reminder on how to log a new one into Google Calendar. You'll click the date, for instance this is on the 24th as you can see, and we enter in the ticket number, the last name, the vehicle type, the detail type, and the return type. And once we've done that, we're going to hit the enter button, and when we hit enter on the keyboard, it will send us an email automatically. At this point, now the job is logged in, you'll hang the keys on the pegboard. When we come and collect the keys off the pegboard, we will change it to yellow, and that tells all of us that we have the key. Once we begin working on it, we change it to orange, saying that we're working on it. And then we'll put a note in on what type of orange in progress. It might be done in the shop or interior done, for example. This one, as you can see, is done in the shop. Once we're done with it, we'll mark it dark green when we've turned it back into you. We'll now go over a couple of just photos and give some information. This has our phone number, 801-718-8819. The easiest way to get a hold of us is to give us a text. It has the login for Google Calendar, the email, and the password just in case the link doesn't come through, and the instructions on how to enter it into the calendar. And then at the bottom it gives the different status of colors, just the base color, the yellow that we have the keys, the orange that it's in progress, and the dark green that it is done and turned back into you. This shows where to click the internet browser. This is the favorites tab. Then you can click the drop down favorites bar and click on the meticulous Google Calendar. Here's the pegboard there in your office with the different numbers for the dates, and the clipboard where we sign keys out. And here in your drawer are our forms. Ultimately, we're really excited to be working with Park and Jet, and we look forward to helping you any way that we can. Again, send us a text, 801-718-8819, anytime we can do something to help.